So first we are going to create a new Genkit project. So you can watch my previous video about Genkit where we created a new project from scratch and deployed on the Firebase function. So we are going to do similar in this. So first type Firebase init functions. This will be a Genkit project. Select your project, TypeScript. So now our Firebase function is created. Now I'm going to create for Firestore. So our main Genkit source code will be in the function folder that will be deployed on the server, and in the Firestore we are going to use to store our database and embeddings and create indexing. So we will do this in the later part of the video. So you can see the structure of the folder. First is the function folder where our source code of the Genkit will be, and we have Firebase index.json that will be enter later part in the video. Now open the function folder and open the terminal in this function folder. All the code execution will take place within the function folder. So type here npm and install our dependencies. So here I am going to write npm install and install these packages: Genkit AI vertexai, dotenv, firebase-admin package, firebase function package, Genkit, and pdf-parse. Click enter. So after this is done, install another package as a developer dependency, which is types pdf-parse. Now open the index.ts file, and in this file we are going to write our code here. Okay. Now here also in the function folder, create another folder, assets. So in production what it happens that if we upload any file on the Google Cloud Storage or any S3 buckets that is been uploaded there, and after the upload a function is triggered which does the process. So instead of creating that full process, I am going to directly upload our file, PDF file here directly, and use that PDF file locally for our embeddings and generation of the content. So this is our HR policy document that we are going to use for our RAG service. This is I downloaded from the Google, it was available that freely, and I am going to use this to paste it on a asset folder directly. We are going to utilize that. Now outside the function folder, create a .env file, that is the environment variable where we are going to use our environment variables for the credentials. So paste these values here. So first is the Google Cloud project, project ID from the Google Cloud console. Second is the Google application credentials. And third is the Google Cloud location, which is US Central 1 by default. Now this Google application credential that we have to download from the Google Cloud. So for this, go to your Google Cloud console here. Here on the menu API and services, go to credentials. Here you can see there is already 2 service accounts created. If not, you can create 1 service account from here. I'm going to use this directly. So after opening this service account, go to the keys section. Since I've already created a JSON file here, what you're going to do, create a new key here and select JSON, click create, and it will download a JSON file. Now include that JSON file in this. So I have directly copied the JSON file in the function folder, which is going to be uploaded on the server, which is not the correct way. But for now, for the testing purpose, we are going to use this locally. But at the end of this whole series, we are going to see how to deploy these Firebase functions, all the credentials on the server on Google Cloud. Now this credential is of 2 purposes. First is we are using vertexai platform. In the last video, we used Google AI and their models. In this video, we are going to use vertexai for LLM generation, plus we also need embedding models, which is available only in the vertexai. So for that purpose, and the second purpose is we are going to generate new data and retrieve from the cloud Firestore. So for that we need to have access to the firebase-admin SDK. So with this help of JSON service, we are going to have a full credentials, full access to the Firebase. So I've already added every import here, you can read it later. So I'm going to focus on the code part basically. So first I'm going to load our environment variables from the env files, and I'm going to copy this gcloud location into a location folder for later use. And in this variable, Google Cloud Project and Google Application Credential is automatically picked by the Genkit framework. So we don't have to externally mention anything about that variable. And then we are going to initialize Firebase here, and from that we are going to initialize Firestore SDK to create our transaction for update and create on the Firestore database. Next is enable Firebase telemetry. So in the last video we can see all the logs, what is the input, output, how much time it take to execute the process. We can see everything on the Genkit UI that is available in the developer console. Next is the collection name. This will be the collection name of the Firebase Firestore. And now instead of Google AI, we are using vertexai here with the location on the US Central one. Now I've created a new Genkit flow named RagFlow and added a label RagFlow. And this output schema means that our output will be returned in the string format. So in this section, we are going to use chunking and embedding part only, which is going to happen once. And we will create another flow for the retrieval purposes. So first thing we have to do is load the content from the HR policy document. So for that, I am using ai.run extraction async function. This is a flow and I am using AI run so we can see what's happening in the extraction on the Genkit developer UI. And in the async function, you can see I loaded a PDF here and extracted the content from here. So in the text result.text, this will be a full text result from the PDF. That means if it contains 50,000, 100,000 words, all the data will be in the text result and will be stored in the PDF text. So our next step is chunking. Because we cannot load all the PDF text, suppose it contains 100,000 words, we cannot load that immediately. So for that, I am going to split this content into multiple text as an array list. So for that, I am creating another flow with the name of chunking. And in this, I am using chunk from the llm-chunk packages. And I have passed the PDF text and I have given configuration to create each chunk of max 5000. That means each paragraph in this array will be contains of maximum 5000 words only. And this chunk data will be an array of it. And we are going to return this object from here. And this chunk list will be a list of all the chunks documents. So our next step is embedding and storing in the Firestore. So now we are going to extract each chunk from this list one by one and create an embedding out of it and store it in the Firestore. So you can see that I am creating another flow named embedding, and in this I have created a loop chunk list extracting one chunk at a time and then using AI embed. So in the AI embed I have passed vertexai embedder. That means Genkit knows that to create a text into embedding format, it will use text embedding 005 model provided from the GCP. And in the content folder, I am going to pass the text. That means this text need to be converted in the embeddings. Now through looping, embeddings will be created for the each chunk here and will be stored in the embedding. Now I faced one issue that you should remember, that I have a quota limit in my API. That means Vertex AI says that you can hit 5 requests per minute only. That's why at a time my code was failing. So I intentionally added 10 seconds delay. If you have already high quota, no need to add this in your code, but I am adding because I have a higher limit of 5 requests per minute. And now we've created a document. Now this document is the Firestore document. So in this document, our schema is the content key. The content key will contain the text format because after retrieval, we are going to use this text format to send to LM and send to the user. Next is the embedding. So embedding that we just generated for each chunk, we are going to mention here. So we have to mention like field value dot vector embeddings. We have to tell the Firestore that this is the embedding data type. And then you can add another metadata. For now, I have added timestamp, but you can add user ID, order ID, public profile, or any kind of ID that you can store along with in the Firestore. So I am adding each document that is going to be stored in the Firestore and collecting in the document array, and I'm returning this whole as an array in the document list. So this document list is actually a document that is going to be stored in the Firestore. Instead of updating it one by one or creating a document in the collection one by one, I have created a batch operation here. So extracting one document at a time, adding in the collections. Here is the collection name that we just created, that is HR_documents. And as it runs batch.commit, all the documents will be updated on the Firebase. So let's try now. Now our embedding part is done. We extracted the data from the PDF, converted into embeddings and sent into Firestore. Now let's check it by Genkit start in the Genkit developer UI. So now our Genkit developer UI is loaded. Now let's go to the flows and you can see our rag flow is available here and click on run. So here we don't need to mention any input because in the code we already mentioned to pick the PDF from the asset folder. We mention only the output schema to tell that whether the embedding is completed or not. So it will take few minutes to do the chunking, creating embeddings from the embedding model and then update the data on the Firestore. So let's wait. So our process is complete. Now on the right side here in the trace detail, we can see the logs of the each step that we created. That means the each flow that we done. First is extraction, chunking and embedding. So if we click on one of them, we can see that one embedding took 1.83 seconds. What were the input sent? If we open this input was sent, and in the embeddings, this was the output provided by the embedding models. So this way we can debug our application before publishing. So now since our data has been updated on the Firestore, let's go to the Firestore, click refresh here. And now you can see the new collection has been created, HR documents with a multiple list of documents. So each document contains one content key that we just passed. Another is the embedding. You cannot see the embedding directly in the viewport. This is for the calculation only. And another is the server timestamp. So our whole database is ready to be retrieved now. But the retrieval will not work just now because one step is missing, that is indexing. So by default, Firestore doesn't index our embedding. So we have to manually trigger the index via CLI, and this is the one-time process only. So for this, I am going to use Firestore CLI here. So earlier we created Firebase index JSON file in the starting of the video. So we are going to open this and we are going to override this value with this JSON. That means we have to mention what is the name of the collections. The query scope is collection type and the field, which field will be indexed. So for that I mentioned the field name embedding that is stored in the document of our collections, and the vector config dimension 768 and flat. This need to be exactly same to be work properly. Now to update this Firestore index JSON file to the Firebase, I am going to run this command firebase deploy -only Firestore index. You can see the Firestore is uploading and the deploy is complete. Now this process will take a minute, and to check that we are going to run this command gcloud Firestore index composite list project name and the project ID. If we run this CLI, we can see the status is creating. That means the indexing is still being created. It is not the complete process. So we cannot perform the retrieval right now. So keep executing this CLI until the status is ready. You can also check this state from the Firestore console also. So go here in the database, data, indexes, click on indexes, and you can see the indexes just we created. So you can see the status is it's still building. We will wait. Now our index is ready. You can see the status enabled. Now our Firebase data is ready to be perform retrieval operations. Now remember, suppose if you have another PDF document to be embed, you can perform the embedding operation, but you don't need to perform the index process again for the same collections. This is the one-time process only. So it is the end of the part 1 of the RAG series. So in this video, we did embedding, chunking and indexing. So in the next video, we will do the actual retrieval operation, how to get the relevant data and send it to the user. See you in the next video. Till then, keep learning.